Hi, I'm Cher the Shadow Walker, and if you could just hit the like button on your way in, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Or subscribe, it's free. Today I'm looking at the Atlantic provinces, the Northwest Territories, Yellowknife, and the Yukon for cryptids. Enjoy. So in New Brunswick over the past 24 hours, there was a Bigfoot sighting in the Elgin Caledonia Mountains. It was a brief one. It was at 2:15 a.m. and the witness felt they observed it, but then they felt the download of sudden emotional dread, and they reported it to the Bigfoot file. A dog man near the Kingston Peninsula at 11:30 p.m., two people witnessed a large canine standing upright in a field, eyes reflected amber in the high beams, and they reported it to the dogman file. There was a screamer or vocalization in the Miramichi River Basin at 3:45 a.m. Three people, a metallic high-pitched shrieks scanner picked it up, and they reported a shift in the frequency signals, and they reported it to the Atlantic scanners. There was a spider humanoid in the Octomo area at 1:20 a.m. One person, a pale figure with too many joints, seen climbing a silo near the river, and they reported it to the Cryptid Watch. There was a hellhound in the Shediac Moncton corridor area at 12:05. Two people, a black phantom dog with red glowing eyes, seen pacing the highway shoulder, and they reported it to the hellhound file. And there was a shapeshifter in Charlotte County near St. Stevensville. St. Stevensville's near to my heart. I got my Landseer there. And it was at dusk, and it was one person that reported it. Observation transitioning from a coyote-like animal to a tall, dark humanoid figure. And they reported it to the New Brunswick file. In Nova Scotia, over the past 24 hours, there was a Bigfoot sighted near Kejimkujik in the Highway 8 corridor, or Keji, as most of us down there would call it. At 10:15 p.m., two people. They witnessed a stationary figure, and they observed it near the tree line for a bit, and they noticed that its eyes were reflecting white, and they reported it to the Bigfoot file. There was a screamer or vocalization near Wreck Cove in the Cape North area at 4:10 a.m. Three witnesses, a high decimal metallic shrieks tracked by digital scanners moving north, and they reported it to the Atlantic Scanners file. There was a dog man in Cape Breton Highlands in the Skyline Trail area. At 1:30 a.m., one person witnessed a bipedal canine seen shadowing a hiker moving with extreme silence, and they reported it to the dogman file. And there was a spider humanoid in Meat Cove on the cliffs at 11:45 p.m. Two witnesses. They said they seen a pale, multi-limbed entity seen scaling a vertical shale rock face cliff, and they reported it to the Cryptid Watch. In Halifax, a hellhound near McNabb's Island. Post midnight, two people, a large black phantom dog seen near the fort battlements, vanished when approached, and they reported it to the hellhound file. And there was mind speak in the Meat Cove Capstick area at dusk. One person, emotional download of a protective intent. Witness felt a mental push to stay on the trail, and they reported that to the hellhound file of Nova Scotia. In the Goose River area, a hellhound was sighted. At 1:15 a.m., two witnesses reported a large black canine with glowing eyes seen pacing the tree lines and vanished when approached, and they reported it to the hellhound file. And there was a shapeshifter near Border Carleton at dusk. One person observed a transitioning from a coyote like form to a tall, dark humanoid near the bridgehead, and they reported it to the PE 2026 file. And there was a vocalization or screamer in the Cavendish North Shore area at 3:30 a.m. 3 people. High-pitched metallic shrieks recorded. Scanners suggest the frequency shift, and they reported to the Atlantic Scanners file. And in Kingston, and the pugwy, oh, this was interesting to me. A pugwy small humanoid. Now, I've heard about these in Ontario, especially up in the Haliburton Highlands. But this one was in the pugwy, and this one was in the Kingston area. It was a pugwy, and it was 11:45 p.m. 2 people witnessed a small gray-skinned figure seen moving through a garden appeared to disappear into the brush, and they reported it to the local tracker. And at Point Prim, there was mind speak. At sunset, one witness reported a sudden emotional download and a mental image of a tall protector, and they reported it to the Guardian, which is me. Spider humanoid, St. Peter's Bay. At 2 a.m., one person, a pale figure with elongated limbs, seen scuttling across the dock towards the water. They reported it to the Cryptid file. That area right there is an area where there's scallops in the bay, so maybe it likes scallops. So in Newfoundland, there was a Bigfoot in central Newfoundland near Badger. At 10:45 p.m., 2 witnesses reported a large bipedal figure observed crossing a logging road, and its eyes reflected pale white, and they reported it to the Atlantic Tracker. And there was a screamer in the St. Anthony's Northern Peninsula. At 3:55 a.m., 4 people heard blood-curdling metallic howls from the timbers that lasted 15 seconds, and they reported it to the Atlantic file. And a dog man near the Gander River Basin at 1:20 a.m., one person saw a 7-foot tall bipedal canine seen pacing the riverbank, displayed a soul-reading behavior, and they reported it to the dog man file. In the Signal Hills, St. John's area, a spider humanoid was spotted at 2:15 a.m. by 2 people. A pale, multi-limbed figure seen scaling the steep rocks face near the cliff's edge, and they reported it to the Cryptid Watch. In the Bonavista area, there was a hellhound, so the Bonavista Peninsula, at midnight. One person, a massive black dog with red glowing eyes, seen standing near the middle of the coastal road. They reported it to the Hellhound file. And atmospheric shimmer near Terra Nova National Park at dusk. 3 people witnessed a visual distortion or a cloak figure moving through the forest. 0 sound produced, and they reported it to the UAP and the Paranormal Watch Society. In the Northwest Territories and the Yukon and Yellowknife, there was a Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or Nage, Bushman, in the Yukon near Telson. At 10:20 p.m., 2 people witnessed a large dark figure observed crossing the Alaskan highway in 2 strides, and they reported it to the Yukon Conservation. And at Yellowknife, in the Back Bay area, there was a screamer vocalization at 3:10. 3 people, a high decimal metallic shrieks echoing off the ice, lasted 20 seconds. They reported to the Atlantic Scanners file. And a dog man in Nanny Valley, Northwest Territories, at dusk, one person seen, a bipedal canine seen on the ridge. Witness reported paralyzing dread. They reported it to the Dogman file. And a spider humanoid or crawler, whichever you prefer, in Whitehorse in the Yukon River Trail area at 1:45 a.m., 2 people, a pale, spindly figure seen scuttling vertically up cut bank. They reported it to the Cryptid Watch. A hellhound in Dawson City, Yukon, at midnight. One person, a black phantom dog, witnessed with red eyes seen pacing the boardwalk. No sound. They reported it to the hellhound file. And a skinwalker in Benko, Northwest Territories. Late last night, two people witnessed an auditory mimicking of family member's voice coming from the tree line, and they reported it to the local research group. And that is it. And have an absolutely wonderful day. And if you're out there on the trails, please be careful. Don't go alone. And remember to have a GPS with you and to let people know and to check in frequently. Thank you. And if you would please like, share, or subscribe. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.